Inside American Pickers star Frank Fritz's private new life 1 year after stroke as he celebrates milestone 60th birthday. Frank lives a reckless life in LeClaire, Iowa, rarely leaving his $155,000 farmhouse. A source close to Frank exclusively revealed to the U.S. Sun how the former American Pickers star spends his days. The insider claimed, since the stroke, he's been totally incognito. He doesn't care to fraternize. He's home when he wants to be. Frank does have a small circle of close friends who he hangs out with. The source continued, they collect with the internet, you can't help but not. They're buying and selling there all the time on the internet. He sells stuff all the time to private people. He's still picking signs, it's his favorite. He's a collector and a motorcycle head. When Frank, who has been wheelchair-bound since suffering the stroke in July 2022, does leave the house, he's going out to eat. The insider said, he has his favorite restaurants he likes to eat at. He likes Mexican food and barbecue. Frank also leaves his home for therapy, as he does outpatient treatment weekly. Despite still receiving fan mail, Frank is a private person who reportedly enjoys being totally out of the limelight. Frank also watches new episodes of American Pickers, as he got to find something on there to razz them about. Frank bought the Iowa farmhouse where he spends his days for $130,000 back on May 14, 2010. The 1,660-square-foot farmhouse sits on 0.79 acres of land and features 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The home also boasts a basement, 3 garages, barn and shed. Frank renovated the farmhouse from when he bought it, according to the Scott County Assessor's Office. Then in 2013, Frank purchased the adjoining property for $25,000. The additional property has 0.34 acres of land. Frank built a 3,240-square-foot warehouse in 2015 on the property. The warehouse holds around 90 of the collector's classic motorcycles and other toys he has purchased over the years. The PAL previously gave an update on Frank's condition since suffering the stroke, telling the U.S. Sun, Frank continues to improve daily. You're never 100% after a stroke, but he's fine. He's aware of what's going on. If he were sitting here right now, you could sit and talk to him. He's the same old Frank. Frank was wheelchair-bound after suffering the stroke and even had a ramp installed outside his Iowa home. The friend shared, he can walk, but he's always going to need the wheelchair because he can't walk long distances. Basically, you lose motion. He lost motion. A stroke can affect your left or your right side, it affected his right side. The friend said the biggest misconception about Frank is his health. The source said, he's had a stroke, but he's definitely not debilitated to the point where he can't do anything or do whatever he wants. He doesn't have any problems with that. It's just a change of lifestyle, and it slowed him down. He's the same old Frank. He has a good attitude and a great sense of humor. His mindset is positive. We crack jokes all the time. You gotta make the best of the situation, so he's come to terms with all of that. His mind is right, he's a happy guy and his sense of humor is there. His friend, Chris Davis, is the guardian, while Midwestone Bank is the conservator. The documents obtained by the U.S. Sun showed just how much Frank improved in 1 year. The court papers read, because of his stroke, Mr. Fritz's decision-making capacity is so impaired that he is unable to care for his own safety or to provide for necessities such as food, shelter, clothing, or medical care, without which physical injury or illness may occur. Mr. Fritz's decision-making capacity is so impaired that he is unable to communicate, or carry out important decisions concerning his own financial affairs. An exhibit was filed in the court papers from a doctor allegedly claiming Frank does not have decisional capacity. The legal papers continued, decisions must be made for Mr. Fritz's care and placement while he continues to recover and receive treatment for his injuries. Appointment of a guardian and conservator is necessary to avoid immediate harm to him. The guardian will help Frank with his Crohn's disease treatment and continued physical therapy. He will also help the former American Pickers star grocery shop, cook, and get him to activities. The source insisted the conservatorship and guardianship is temporary. Frank's last appearance on American Pickers was during a March 2020 episode. He had taken time off to recover from back surgery, leaving him with 185 stitches and 2 rods in his spine. During his time off the show, Frank lost 65 pounds and entered rehab for alcohol addiction in Iowa for 77 days. Frank also revealed his feud with co-star Mike during the 2021 interview with the U.S. Sun. Frank said, "I haven't talked to Mike in 2 years. He knew my back was messed up, but he didn't call me up and ask how I was doing. That's just how it is." The show is tilted towards him 1000%. "I can't even bend that far down to show you how much." He also admitted, "I think Mike wants to get his brother Robbie in there to replace me. I don't know why he's behaving like that towards me." Soon after the interview, Mike announced Frank was no longer with the show. But the two reunited over Memorial Day weekend and are friends today. A source claimed to the U.S. Sun, "Everything between them is fine. They've known each other for 40 years. They went to high school, they've done all this stuff together." The insider said Mike has visited Frank a handful of times since he suffered the stroke, as the two call and text today as well.